Hello, my wonderful fourth grade artists. It's Miss Nestrick, and I'm here to continue our Frank Stella artwork. But first, we need to talk a little bit more about Frank Stella. So Frank Stella is the artist that we have been talking about in class, and about his minimalist artwork. So Frank Stella got bored with the canvas that we always use, the square canvas that you guys are so used to. He felt like it was just not fun to work with, and so a friend of his, an artist friend of his, suggested that he change the shape of the surface, and it created all sorts of new inspiration for him. So one of the things that kind of characterizes Frank Stella as an artist that you would see over and over again is that his artwork isn't a normal rectangle or square shape. He changes the shape of the canvas that he's working on to create interest. So, Stella also experimented with color. He realized that line makes color move through his artwork. So when you look at his artwork, you can see a variety of lines, shapes, and colors that guide your eyes through the painting. So with this painting, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Whoop. So you can kind of see, I think you guys can see, where it's highlighted. So Stella originally took a circle, a half circle, another half circle, and then he broke those shapes up into different shapes. So he broke them up using lines, and then in each section he drew a different color or painted a different color so that your eyes kept moving through the painting instead of just staying in one spot. So it has lots of curved lines, but there are also straight lines as well. So this is some artwork that Frank Stella is pretty well known for. So he really liked to use strangely shaped surfaces, and this is his Protractor series that he used lots of color in. So the protractors, like I said before, so let me back up. A protractor is a tool that is used to measure things, and it's straight on one side and curved on the other like a semicircle. And he named this the Protractor series because it looks like a lot of protractors, and he also used protractors to create this art. So he started with a circle, a half circle, and a half circle, but he overlapped them and then added extra lines. So this purple one is a half circle, and then this pink one is, and then he added extra lines like this yellow line, this green line, which would actually connect if you look at it closely. He drew extra lines and then erased some so that it would create this abstract look of intersecting circles. So it actually is a lot easier to create than it looks like. So, like I said, the series was named after the tool that Stella sometimes used to create his artwork. So this is actually a compass. So he created his curved lines with a homemade beam compass. So a compass usually has 2 points on it, and is pretty small, but a beam compass is made from wood and a point so that it's really big. Then he would draw his lines that intersected, so they would cross on top of each other on the artwork. This would be a sketch. Then he figured out what width he wanted the lines to be. So the lines in his artwork all have the same thickness, even if some of them are curved and some of them are straight. All of them are the same thickness, which is really cool and creates a lot of interest. So he determined what the thickness he wanted it to be. And then he would place tape between the lines so that it would have clear edges. So if we go back to this page, if we zoom in really close, you can barely see a white line, a white thin line between each of the colors. And that white thin line is where the tape was. So it created a very crisp edge and then made the colors kind of vibrate a little bit because you have the white that helps pop it off the page. So last week we talked about symmetry. And so you made 2 different boxes that had symmetrical designs in them. So the symmetrical designs, meaning that they have the same on both sides. I told you could have a horizontal line of symmetry, a vertical line of symmetry, or a diagonal line of symmetry. If you are worried that I'm not going to recognize what your line of symmetry is, then go ahead and find a creative way to include that line in your picture, just so that you know that I understand what you're doing. All right, so on Schoology, this is on page 13 of the Florida Virtual School lesson. It talks about how you need a protractor and a compass. Since we're not in school and you guys still haven't gotten your art kits from the district yet, we are going to be tracing instead of using a protractor and a compass. So make sure that you have lots of different things that are circular and a straight edge. So for circular things, I'm using this board spray. I have a glue stick. I have a saucer to make bigger circles, and then I have a ruler for a straight edge. So you can use whatever you would like, but those are the things I'm going to use. So to start off, you're going to need a pencil, and one of your leftover squares, it doesn't matter which one, I want you to draw repeated circles. So overlapping repeated circles, they can be different sizes, but I want you, they can go off the page, but I want them to be somehow overlapping and interconnected just like Stella's were. Make sure that you hold your object really nice and still so that you can trace a perfect circle or close to perfect. Make sure you trace the whole thing as well, because we will decide what lines we want to erase and what lines we want to keep later. All right, so now I have circles all over this square. So now I'm going to take my crayons. This would be a really fun time to switch up the materials that you used in the first section. So I'm going to use crayons because I haven't used those yet. If you have pastels that you want to use, that would be really fun. Or colored pencils, anything that you haven't used in either of your other sections, it would be fun to switch up the materials that you're using, but you don't have to. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick which sections of my circles I want to keep, which edges I want to keep, and which ones I want to kind of blend out. So I'm going to show you. So right down here in this left bottom section, this section is what we're doing right now. So this isn't a finished section, so it's not totally perfect with the curved lines, but they picked which lines they wanted to keep and which ones they wanted to erase out. So some of them, they kept the whole, like the green goes a complete circle, but the outward edge of that color disappears. You can also blend colors, do it however you would like, but think about what edges you want to keep and which ones you want to erase out.
Sunglasses, like a brand new pair of jeans. I feel like taking chances. I feel a lot like 17. I feel like windows roll down new city streets and cabs. I feel like anything can happen, laughing. You take me
All right, so now I've finished this section. So this was my overlapping circle section. And then on this top section, I'm going to use one of my round objects. So I think I'm gonna use my pencil cup. Now I have crayons falling on the floor. So I'm gonna create some semicircles and then also some straight lines to kind of move your eye around the page, and then color it with, maybe I'll color it with my pens. I don't know what I'm gonna color it with yet, but we will see.
I feel like a young John Cusack, like making big mistakes. I feel like for the first time in a long time, I am not afraid. I feel like a kid. Never thought it'd feel like this. Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can fly and I don't even think of touching the ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way.
All right, so I have now finished the front side of my Frank Stella piece of artwork. I want you guys to know that this took me about 40 minutes to do. So this might take you 2 classes to do. I would love for you to work on it outside of class, but if you need to just work on it in class, that is okay too. I'll probably schedule in some time to work on it next week, just since it took me so long to do, just so you guys have time too. So as a reminder, one of my sections is repeated overlapping circles, and then the other section is a combination of curves and straight lines that create parallel and perpendicular lines that are similar to Frank Stella's. I colored it in lots of different ways using lots of different materials, and it's completely up to you how you interpret those instructions. So if you need help, if you have questions, which I'm sure you're going to, you can ask me in class or message me on Schoology, and I'll try to help as best I can. So after you finish this, the front part of this Frank Stella, take a picture of this and turn it into the progress picture link, assignment link on Schoology. Make sure that, here, let me just show you real quick. So if we go to the purple folder in Schoology, if we scroll down, it'll say progress picture of Frank Stella drawing. Turn this in by Monday the 21st, so that's next Monday. Even if you aren't finished with Frank Stella with the whole front, I want you to turn something in so that I can help you if for some reason you've misunderstood something. I want to be able to catch it before you've completely finished this project so that your grade isn't affected. So that's why I want you to send in a progress picture. You can do it at any point within this week, week 6, and it's due next Monday. So if you have questions, let me know, and I will see you guys soon. Adios.